Cold brew coffee has captured the premium coffee market with a simple, compelling promise: all the caffeine, none of the bitterness. The slow steeping process, typically 12 to 24 hours in cold or room temperature water, extracts caffeine and coffee solids differently than hot brewing, producing a concentrate that is smoother, less acidic, and more palatable than conventional drip coffee. For the approximately 64% of American adults who drink coffee daily, cold brew has become a sophisticated, acceptable upgrade. The problem is embedded in its greatest selling point: the smoothness that makes cold brew easy to drink quickly, in large volumes, without the sensory feedback that normally moderates consumption. A standard 16-ounce ready-to-drink cold brew from a major commercial brand contains between 200 and 280 milligrams of caffeine. Some concentrate formats, consumed without adequate dilution, can deliver 400 milligrams or more. For context, the FDA considers 400 milligrams daily the upper safe limit for healthy adults, and cardiologists typically recommend considerably lower thresholds for anyone with cardiovascular concerns, anxiety disorders, or sleep difficulties. A single tall cold brew from a cafe chain can push an individual to or past the FDA's daily ceiling before noon, and since the beverage tastes mild rather than intense, there's no sensory signal warning the consumer that they've hit a pharmacologically significant caffeine load. The cardiovascular consequences of chronic high-dose caffeine intake extend beyond the commonly understood effects on heart rate and blood pressure. Caffeine is a potent stimulator of the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, the body's central stress response system. Chronic daily caffeine consumption at high doses suppresses the cortisol awakening response, disrupts the natural diurnal cortisol rhythm, and can produce a state of chronic low-grade HPA axis dysregulation that manifests as persistent low-grade anxiety, fatigue paradoxically worsened despite stimulant use, and blunted stress response capacity. Cardiologists are increasingly documenting cases of otherwise inexplicable tachycardia in young, healthy patients that resolve when cold brew consumption is reduced. Patients who had normalized their daily 400 milligrams habit without recognizing it as pharmacologically relevant. The sleep disruption cycle is particularly insidious. Caffeine's half-life is approximately 5 to 7 hours in healthy adults, meaning a 300 milligrams cold brew consumed at noon still has 75 to 150 milligrams of active caffeine circulating at midnight. Chronic sleep deprivation, which the resulting shallow, fragmented sleep produces, increases cortisol, elevates inflammatory markers, raises cardiovascular risk, and, perhaps most problematically, increases perceived need for stimulants the following day. The cold brew habit thus perpetuates the very fatigue it appears to resolve, creating a physiological dependency cycle that looks from the outside like healthy coffee culture. The comparison with espresso is instructive. A double espresso delivers roughly 120 to 140 milligrams of caffeine in approximately 2 ounces of liquid. The small volume, intense flavor, and social convention of espresso consumption naturally limits intake. Cold brew, served in 16 to 24-ounce cups, delivers twice the caffeine while actively suppressing the sensory signals that regulate consumption. From a caffeine delivery standpoint, the format itself is the risk factor, independent of the caffeine content per ounce.